North Korean dictator and man surprised by his own amazing nuclear program, Kim Jong-un, has invited Donald Trump to talk about disarmament of his nuclear weapons after a charm offensive, which started by sending a large delegation to the Winter Olympics in South Korea, where Kim Jong-un's sister dazzled the world and charmed the press to such an extent that BuzzFeed, of all outlets, had to remind people that she represented a regime which literally puts people in concentration camps. Thanks, BuzzFeed! I feel like the North Korean cheerleading squad doing their chants on empty bleachers for no reason at all also made it entirely clear that they weren't there under the immediate threat of a painful death for them and their families. I'm also sure the reason they weren't allowed to go to the bathroom alone was to kindly make sure that they didn't have any urinary tract infections and not to try to stop them from escaping that painful death I mentioned earlier. Oh, and apparently they're sex slaves too. Fantastic! For those of you who think that Kim Jong-un has suddenly seen the error of his ways and wants to make amends with the world, think again! With the same amount of haste that Kim Jong-un was firing off missiles and promising to make Washington DC go down in flames last year, he is now trying to make nice with the rest of the world. He must have his reasons, and they probably do not include an intervention where he was forced to give up his addiction to being a complete douche nozzle. It's of course due to the amazing negotiation skills of one Donald J. Trump. Scratch that just can't be it now, can it? No, it's not. The real reason is, of course, dubious but surprisingly straightforward. It's about cash money. New figures released by the Korea Institute for International Economic Policy shows that the international sanctions are hitting harder and more ferociously than we've ever seen before. Exports from North Korea to its largest trading partner, China, dropped by 37% compared to 2016. Despite that, North Korea kept importing goods from China at the same rate as before. Now, to cover this trade deficit, money has been taken from the country's foreign currency reserve, which has dropped from between $4 and $5 billion to between $2 and $3 billion. Now, essentially, Kim is acting fast to avoid bankruptcy. So I guess you could say, yay, the sanctions are working! The North Korean regime are strapped for cash, but significantly less yay for all the innocent North Koreans, some of which are probably starving more aggressively than they were before. This is a strategy often implemented by Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, in certain situations, and it's called buying time, which is why this following point is all the more poignant. Kim might not negotiate in good faith or honor a deal even if one were struck, and Trump, who has a short attention span and a desperate desire for wins, might simply get outmaneuvered by a smarter and more disciplined adversary. Outmaneuvered, that is, by this guy, someone who got gout because he couldn't stop eating cheese. I feel like they must be kindred spirits. Maybe they can get along. This is the time that Donald Trump gets the chance to show his prowess as the great dealmaker he has always boasted about being, but there's always a large but. Robert E. Kelly, a North Korea expert at South Korea's Pusan National University, argued on Twitter that Trump was dangerously naive to think he could dive headlong into a decades-old conflict and single-handedly solve it in a matter of months. We can always hope, Kelly wrote, but it is just as reasonable to fear that Trump, the reality TV star who somehow stumbled into the presidency for which he is woefully unfit, will wander from decades of joint US-South Korea policy, about which he naturally knows nothing, and make some kind of deal for a win that no other US official would endorse. I mean, so God, we're fucked, aren't we? But even if Kim Jong-un is just trying to get some sanctions lifted before he gets back to his quest to world annihilation, this honestly quite remarkable progress is not nothing. As a now traditional Trump Republican would say, this never happened under that African Muslim Obama guy. Thanks, Donald, you're doing Sorry. I threw up in my mouth a little. I'm sure we'll be fine, and that this won't end badly at all. Okay, I'm gonna go projectile vomit into my toilet until the next time news breaks, which has the capacity to end the world as we know it. But for now, kiss your kids and sell your Bitcoin, because this can end in any way possible, including, of course, merciless death and destruction. Okay, cheerio!
If you will tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again.